What if I told you that the very thing causing your stress, your anxiety, and your sleepless nights is something that you're doing to yourself right now? I spent years white knuckling my way through life, trying to control everything around me. And you know what I got? Exhausted, burnt out, and miserable. But then I learned something that changed everything. And today we're talking about the one skill that will give you more peace than a month-long vacation: learning to let go. And stick around till the end, because I'm going to share the exact 3-step process I use when I catch myself spiraling into control mode. Trust me, you'll want to write this down. Hey there, and welcome back to the Hope Regain podcast. I'm your host, Christiane Boudreau, and I'm so glad you're here today because we're diving into something that literally changed the trajectory of my entire life. And I'm not being dramatic when I say that. Before we jump in, if you're new here, welcome to the Hope Regain family. This is a space where we get real about life, mental health, personal growth, and finding hope, even in the messy middle. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we drop new episodes every week. Now, let me tell you a quick story. Last Tuesday, I caught myself at 10 p.m. and I realized I was doing something the thing that you do when you're trying to control something, because everything feels out of control. I noticed my mind was racing and replaying a situation over and over, trying to figure out how to fix it. And then I paused and asked myself, what am I actually trying to control right now? And that's when it hit me. I was spinning out over a situation that I had absolutely no control over. So I went into my quiet space, did some meditation, and let it go. Just like that. But here's the thing. I wasn't always able to do that. There was a time when I would have spiraled for hours, maybe even days. And that's what we're talking about today. Letting go of the things we cannot control. Because here's the thing. We all know we should do it, right? It's like the eat your vegetables of mental health advice. But knowing and doing are two very different things. Why does holding on actually hurt us? What are the incredible benefits of letting go? And most importantly, how do we actually do it? I'm not about giving you advice that sounds good, but leaves you wondering, okay, but how? And remember what I said in the beginning. Stick around to the end because I'm sharing my personal 3-step process that I use literally every single day. Okay, so let's start with the hard truth. And I'm going to say this with so much love. Most of us are control freaks. Now, before you're like, no, not me, let me ask you this. Do you replay conversations in your head thinking of what you should have said? Do you check your phone obsessively, waiting for someone to text you back? Do you try to manage other people's emotions? And do you make backup plans for your backup plans? Yeah, we're all guilty of something on that list. And here's the kicker. We don't do this because we're bad people. We do it because our brains are literally wired to seek certainty and safety. Our ancient ancestors who worried about every rustle in the bushes, they survived. The chill ones were like, it's probably just the wind. They became dinner. So thank you, evolution, for making us natural born warriors. But here's where it gets a bit more messy. In our modern world, we're not running from saber-toothed tigers anymore. We're running from imaginary worst-case scenarios. that our brains create at 2 a.m. We're trying to control things that are literally uncontrollable. Other people's opinions, the future, the past, the weather, traffic. Oh, and don't forget the economy. And it's exhausting us. I want you to think about this for just 1 second. How much mental energy do you spend every day trying to control things that are outside of your control? If you're anything like I was, it's probably most of it. And here's what nobody tells you about trying to control everything. It doesn't work. It has never worked, and it will never work. But somehow we keep trying, thinking, maybe if I just worry harder, plan better, manipulate smarter. No. All we get is more anxiety, more stress, and more disappointment when things don't go according to our perfect plan. There's this quote I love, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it goes something like, worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. And that's what trying to control the uncontrollable is. Mental rocking chair Olympics. So why do we hold on so tight? Usually comes down to fear. Fear of the unknown, and that's a big one for me. Fear of being hurt. Fear of losing something or someone we love. A fear of not being enough. Fear of what other people think. And I know a few people that have that going on. And our brain says, if I can just control everything, I'll be safe. But spoiler alert, you won't be safe. You'll just be exhausted. Now, I'm not saying that we should just throw our hands up and become totally passive. There's a huge difference between giving up and letting go. Giving up is resignation. Letting go is release. Giving up says nothing matters. Letting go says this isn't mine to carry. One of my favorite sayings is, not my circus, not my monkeys. And I use it to say it to myself out loud sometimes in the mirror, just to remember. And that brings us to the next bit. What actually happens when we learn to let go? Okay, so we've established that holding on too tight is exhausting, but what actually happens to us when we start to let go? I'm going to share some benefits with you, and I want you to know these aren't just theoretical. These are things I've personally experienced and I've seen in countless people I've worked with. And that includes my kids when they listen. Benefit number 1, you get your energy back. When you stop trying to control everything, you suddenly have this massive surplus of mental and emotional energy. Energy you can use for things that actually matter. Your creativity, your relationships, your dreams, your joy. It's like you've been carrying around a backpack full of heavy rocks your entire life. And suddenly someone tells you that you can just put it down. The relief is immediate. Benefit number 2, your relationships improve. This one's huge. When you stop trying to control other people, their choices, their feelings, their opinions of you, your relationships get so much better. Because here's the thing. People can feel when you're trying to control them, even if you're being subtle about it. And nobody likes feeling controlled. When you let go, you give people permission to be themselves. And then they feel safer with you. Paradoxically, you actually get closer to people when you stop trying to hold them so tight. Benefit number 3, you become more resilient. When you accept that you can't control everything, you stop being devastated every time something doesn't go your way. You develop this beautiful flexibility, like a palm tree in a hurricane. You bend, but you don't break. It's like weebles wobble, but they don't fall down because you're not rigidly attached to one specific outcome. You're open to what is rather than being destroyed by what isn't. Benefit number 4 is you experience more peace. And I'm talking about real peace, not the everything's perfect kind of peace, but let's be real, that doesn't exist. I'm talking about the deep, grounded peace that comes from knowing you're doing your best and releasing the rest. It's the peace that lets you sleep at night, the peace that lets you enjoy your morning coffee without your mind racing through your to-do list, the peace that lets you be present with your family, your partner, your friends, even your kids. Benefit number 5, you discover what you can control. This might sound counterintuitive, but when you stop wasting energy on what you can't control, you get really clear about what you can control. And guess what? There's actually a lot. You can control your effort, your attitude, your responses, your boundaries, and I know I say that a lot, how you treat people, how you treat yourself, the habits that you build, the thoughts that you entertain. And that's plenty. When you focus on your energy there, you actually start making real changes in your life. I have this quote that I keep on my desk, an original one that came to me during a particularly difficult season. The moment you release what was never yours to hold, you create a space for what's meant to stay. Can we just sit with that for a second? When I finally let go of trying to control my career path, the right opportunities just showed up. When I let go of trying to force a friendship that had run its course, better friendships appeared. When I've let go of trying to control how my family perceived me, I found peace of knowing who I actually am. It's like we're walking around with our fists clenched so tight around sand, and it's slipping through our fingers anyway. But when we open our hands and when we let go, suddenly we can receive what's meant for us. And here's another beautiful thing about letting go. It doesn't mean you don't care. This is a big misconception. People think that letting go means becoming apathetic or disconnected. Not at all. You could care deeply about something and still let go of controlling it. In fact, sometimes letting go is the most loving thing you can do. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking right now. This sounds great, but how? How do I actually let go? And that's what we're going to get to next. So here are some practical strategies. This is what we need to know, the toolkit to get started. And I'm going to be real with you. Letting go is a practice. It's not a one-time decision. It's something you'll come back to again and again, probably for the rest of your life. And that's okay. That's not failure. It's called being human. Strategy number 1. First off, you have to identify what you can and can't control. The first step is about getting really honest with yourself and what's actually in your control. I want you to literally make 2 columns And in one column, you're going to write things I can control. And in the other, you're going to write things I can't control. Here's what goes into the I can control column: your actions, your reactions, your effort, your words, your boundaries, your habits, your focus, and how you spend your time. That's all what goes into column number 1. Now let's look at our column number 2 and what you can't control. Other people's actions, other people's opinions, the past, what's behind us, the future, because we can plan it, but there are other circumstances that come in there. Outcomes, the weather, traffic, how fast somebody responds to you or texts back, whether someone likes you, the economy, aging, death, and taxes, which always show up. So you kind of get the idea what goes in column number 2. Do this exercise every time you feel overwhelmed, because I promise you 90% of your stress is coming from trying to control things in that second column. Strategy number 2 we have to work at is the 10-10-10 perspective. This is a game changer. When you're spiraling about something, ask yourself, will this matter in 10 minutes? Will this matter in 10 months? Will this matter in 10 years? That person that cut you off in traffic, not going to matter in 10 minutes. That embarrassing thing you said at the party probably won't matter in about 10 months. And that career rejection in 10 years, you might not even remember it. This helps you zoom in and see what's actually worth your energy. So we're going to look at strategy number 3 now, the sacred pause. And I know in a lot of the episodes that we talk about some form of pause. It's really effective. So this is my personal favorite. When you feel the urge to control something, to send that text or to have that conversation, to fix that problem that's probably not yours, to force that outcome, pause. Just pause. Take the 3 deep breaths that I always talk about. Count to 10. Go for a walk around the block. In that pause, ask yourself, am I acting from fear or from love? Am I trying to control this or am I responding wisely? 9 times out of 10, that pause will save you from doing something you'll regret. Strategy number 4, direct your energy. Okay, so you've identified that something is out of your control in that column 2. Now what? You redirect your energy to something you can control. Worried about whether you'll get that job? You can't control the hiring decision, but you can control preparing well for the interview. Worried about whether your friend is mad at you? You can't control their feelings, but you can control reaching out with kindness and honesty. Every time you catch yourself trying to control the uncontrollable, column number 2, what can I do right now is the question to ask. Strategy number 5, practice acceptance. This is a big one, but also the hardest one. So I've saved it for now. Acceptance doesn't mean you like something. It doesn't mean that you're going to agree with it. And it doesn't mean that you're giving up on changing it. It just means you're acknowledging reality as it is right now. There's this saying in recovery circles: acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. And it's true. So much of our suffering comes from not from our actual circumstances, but from our resistance to them. When you find yourself saying, this shouldn't be happening, or this isn't fair, or why me? That's resistance. And resistance is exhausting. Acceptance is, this is what's happening. I don't have to like it, but I can work with it. Here's a personal mantra I use. Another original quote for you. I release what I can't change and embrace what I can create. I say this to myself probably 10 times a day, sometimes less, sometimes a lot more. Strategy number 6. Start building yourself a letting go ritual. This might sound woo-woo, and I know there are a lot of things that I warn about the woo-woo, but rituals are powerful. They signal to our brain that we're doing something important. And those that know me well have heard me preach this a lot. You know who you are out there, and sometimes they're even my kids. Some people write down what they're releasing and then burn the paper. Safely, please. And some people say it out loud. Some people visualize it. And I personally have a letting go ritual where I write down what I'm releasing each day. The physical act of writing it down and closing that journal helps my brain process that I'm actively letting it go. I actually just said to my son last night, when you're writing it down, you can let it go. Find what works for you, but make it a practice. Strategy number 7, get support. Letting go is hard. You don't have to do it alone. Talk to a friend. See a therapist. Join a support group. Listen to podcasts like this one. Read books on it. Surround yourself with people who are also on this journey. And hey, that's why we have the Hope Regain community, because we're all in this together. You're not alone in struggling with this. So I promised you at the beginning that at the end I would share my 3-step process for when I catch myself spiraling into control mode. And here it is. I call it the spiral stopper. And I use it constantly. Now, if only I could get my kids to really take in what I say and use it themselves too. Right, Luke? Right, Hope? Step number 1 is name it. And you'd be surprised. Naming it is powerful. You notice you're trying to control something, literally say it out loud or in your head if you are surrounded by people at that moment. I'm trying to control blank. For example, I'm trying to control whether my boss likes my presentation, or I'm trying to control how my partner feels or is reacting. Naming it is the beginning of taking away the power. It brings it from the subconscious to the conscious. It can suddenly make it workable. So you can work with it. It's out there. Step number 2 is a reality check. Ask yourself, can I actually control this? Is it something from column number 2 or column number 1? Yes or no. Simple. Not can I influence this? Not can I try really hard? Can I control this? If the answer is no, and it usually is, acknowledge it. Say it out loud. I can't control this. Step number 3 is redirect it and release it. This is the action step. Say, what I can control is from column 1 and release the rest from column 2. So the full process sounds like this and is actually a lot quicker than what it sounds when you walk through the steps step by step. But I'm trying to control whether I get this job. I can't control this. What I can control is preparing well and following up professionally. And I release the rest. Boom. Spiral stopped. You've acknowledged reality. You've identified what's in your power and you've let the rest go. I'm telling you, this simple 3-step process has saved me countless hours of anxiety spirals. Write it down. Screenshot this if you're watching. Put it on your phone. Use it. You'll find over time, everything will start to actually release. It gets easier. It becomes part of your norm, part of your regular everyday exercise. Normal. So we've covered a lot today, and we're just going to wrap it around and bring it on home. Letting go isn't becoming passive or not caring. It's about becoming wise. It's about recognizing what's yours to carry and what isn't. It's about making peace with uncertainty. It's about trading exhaustion for that peace. And I want to leave you with one more quote, and I hope you'll carry it with you. The strongest thing you can do is set down what was never yours to lift. You're not weak for letting go. You're brave, you're strong, and you're wise. And here's the beautiful irony. When you stop trying to control everything, you actually gain control over the one thing that matters most, your own peace of mind. So this week, I challenge you to practice just one of the strategies that we talked about today. And if you want to go deeper, I've created a free worksheet for you. It's called the Letting Go Guide. And it walks you through exercises to identify what you're holding on to and how to release it. You can grab it at www.hoperegained.com. It's completely free and it's going to help you implement everything that we've talked about today. And before you go, do me a favor. If this episode resonated with you, leave a comment below telling me one thing you're ready to let go of. And let's support each other. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. We all need that help and support. And I'm still working on that community to build. It's almost there and it's almost ready to release, where we can all come together to help support and build each other up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I don't want you to miss a thing. I'm working on this project and that will be coming soon. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. We're all learning to let go together. And there's so much hope, so much freedom waiting on the other side of it. Be kind to yourself. Release what isn't yours and keep choosing hope. You're worth it. I'll see you next week.